everybody. Welcome to another Friday, April 19th. We are 4 days removed from having to pay our taxes. I don't know about you, but I feel lighter about it because I don't pay anybody anything. So, who knows? Anyway, I'm only kidding. Welcome to another edition, of course, Doc Val, as always.
Aloha.
How are you, my friend?
Well, unlike you, we had to pay taxes. So this has been kind of a minorly depressing week for us. But, it could have been worse.
We'll get through it because, as you know, at the end of today's show, I'll make you smile and get past those woes with bad dad jokes at the end. But so are you guys out of all the rain yet, by the way? I'm just curious. Are you still swimming, waiting for the ark to come by?
We're in that 10-day stretch of no rain. Woo! It's like, yeah.
Drought season.
Yes. It's like, bring it on. At least, here I don't have to deal with cicadas. And
wow.
So absolutely. It's the squirrels and all the birds that come out. So we're excited. But Manischewitz, I know the rain's coming back soon.
Manischewitz. I love it. Speaking of which, Passover starts on Monday. We'll be drinking a lot of Manischewitz, let me tell you. And if you've never started drinking wine, my recommendation, folks, don't start with Manischewitz, okay?
No, don't start with that.
You can do Manischewitz. Well, yeah, you know why? An old Jewish lady made it. Aww. Anyway, bad joke. I know. I'm starting.
Very bad joke.
I started off great, didn't I? Did you see the TikTok video I shared on the Kiwanis Connects page of a lady from England doing a series of bad dad jokes?
Yeah, she made you look really good.
Didn't she?
Really good.
I love. That's why I put it up there. It's like I don't want to hear anybody complain. So. Anyway, listen.
I'm going to come up with some drunk uncle jokes.
Oh, great. How about homeless guy jokes with that commercial? There you go.
Yeah.
All right, listen, we got a lot to do today. I don't know why I'm messing around, but it says so in my contract that I can do this for a couple of minutes. Yeah, I have a contract. Joining us, we have a couple of guests today. Nancy Pearson from the Kiwanis Club of Los Gatos and also Kiwanis Special Games. And joining us also is Casey Rice, the current president of the Kiwanis Club of Los Gatos. Plus, she's a special ed teacher and the department chair. We got a muckety-muck around here at the Los Gatos High School. My wife taught special ed for 30 years, so we have a kinship. So, ladies, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Hi. Congratulations and happy anniversary and the 100th anniversary, too.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, I always like to ask the quick question, the easy one to kind of get things going. And Nancy and Casey, you both can kind of chime in when you can. How did you guys find Kiwanis? Why did you decide to join Kiwanis?
You want me to go first?
Sure.
So I was looking for something meaningful to do. I met someone who said, "Oh, come to our meeting." And I'll never forget when we stood up to say the pledge, and I practically started to cry because I hadn't said the Pledge of Allegiance like for decades. And so I thought, oh, I'll just kind of join. It might be fun. And then the next thing you know, I was like every week,
everything.
And I loved it. And then Casey, and then someone left the club, and all of a sudden I was Key Club advisor. And I'm like, I haven't been on a high school campus in a million years. Then thus enter my meeting of Casey.
Yeah. I'm on the other side, I think.
Oh yeah, sorry. Wait.
It's not easy to learn, trust me.
So my story is interesting. I was in Key Club when I was in high school. I'm a graduate of Los Gatos High School, as well as now a teacher at Los Gatos High School. And so when they were looking for an advisor of Key Club, I raised my hand and I was like, sure, I'll do it. I came into an advisor position here at the same time Nancy stepped into the SLP advisor position. So I think my first meeting was also her first meeting. And she started talking, and I didn't realize that Key Club was part of Kiwanis. I never made that connection as a high school student because,
people still don't. So don't feel bad.
And so she was like, hey, do you want to join Kiwanis? And I was like, sure. So
Perfect.
There you go.
And I'm very proud. My second grader is actually a K Kids member at Luis Van Meter School in Los Gatos.
Right on. That's so cool. What we're finding here, Val, is the very simple way for current Kiwanians to attract new members. Nike has the logo, just do it. Well, all we do is just ask. That's all we really
Absolutely.
need to do, right?
Ask. Talk about it on, is it Taco Tuesday? Talk about Kiwanis Tuesdays?
There you
Yeah,
go.
absolutely.
Good one.
One
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Kiwanis Wednesday.
Kiwanis
Today's
Wednesday.
Friday.
One of the things I think is so amazing about your club is that you have been around 100 years, and that Key Club has been around 99, and your club actually was one of the initial sponsors of the first 25 Key Clubs that were in the whole world, which is pretty darn amazing. Yeah, I looked up all the fun facts.
Wow.
Aaron can't have all the good juicy stuff. Um, but it's one of the things that you do that is absolutely amazing. That's why I really wanted you guys to be here, because I know next week you're going to be so busy. Is that when we put together the special games club, I was thinking, oh, we've just invented this amazing new thing. But the reality is the special game, isn't this the 45th year of special games?
44th.
That's not
44th
bad.
year. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking we're coming up on a major anniversary.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, how did it start 45 years ago? Let's give some history.
Mm-hmm.
So, two young teachers that were in the adaptive PE program in Santa Clara County were looking for something for their students to do that was more challenging and more fun and getting outside and doing things. So they met Walter Croner, who was, this was probably 46 years ago, because we missed 2 years, with the Los Altos Kiwanis Club. And they started it off, and they had 12 students. And they did it like in a parking lot I forget if it was a church or a school, but they started off really small. And this week we already have over 1,000 registered.
Wow.
Wow.
And that's registered participants. That doesn't include the student volunteers from local Key Clubs. Last year, we actually had a sports team from a local high school. The entire team came, which was thrilling for our students. They came in their uniforms. So we have a lot of student volunteers as well.
So you're looking at about what, maybe as of right now, 1,500 bodies that will be there, probably more when you include the parents or, of the athletes and everything, 2,000 plus people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably almost 3,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Because some of the participants come with two people, right?
Yeah.
Because they're in wheelchairs and their medical challenges are at a level that they need multiple people to support them.
Yep. And their teachers and all the people from the county and Office of Education and West Valley College and all of our Kiwanians, of course. So yeah, it's going to be around 3,000, I think.
Wow. That's nice for a nice Saturday afternoon. 3,000 of your closest friends all being together. Now, while we're talking about that, we do have the video that you guys sent. Did you want to show that at any particular point? Just give me a high sign, or Val, if you'd like, we can just play it as part of our commercial package at the first break, if you'd like.
It's up to the ladies, because, I really want people to understand how amazing this program is, because I think ultimately this should be across the country.
I think it'd be great to show it now. That way people can kind of see what it is in case they have questions.
There you go. So Casey made the call. So here you go. Here is Kiwanis Special Games 2022, correct? Yep. There you go. Let's roll it, as they say.
The opening parade of athletes kicked off the 2022 Kiwanis Special Games. Almost 600 student athletes from 38 Bay Area schools gathered on the West Valley College track to compete in games developed specifically for the growing number of uniquely abled kids in our communities. Children who are part of adaptive physical education programs competed in events tailored to fit the abilities of all athletes. There were 18 different challenges, each put on by a different Kiwanis club in the area. The kids have a great time. They are trying new things and building confidence, cheered on by their families, friends, schools, and hundreds of volunteers who ensure the event runs smoothly. All of the Bay Area Kiwanis clubs come together for the Service Project, an annual event that bonds not only the Kiwanis, but the students, teachers, and parents. The positive effects last long beyond the day of the event, motivating the kids to push themselves harder as they look forward to next year's games all year long. Reporting for KCAT TV Channel 15 News, I'm Gina Luca.
The one thing right at the very beginning that stuck out to me was in 2022, you had 600 athletes. And here you are in 2 years, you've almost doubled it. That's crazy growth in such a short period of time.
Yeah, we broke all records this year because we were in the 900s pre-pandemic. We had just gotten up to 960 or something like that. And so we kind of round up and say, oh, we have almost 1,000, but we had over 1,000 pre-register, and there's always a few that show up also.
Wow.
And we don't turn anyone away, of course.
Go ahead, Val.
Well, I was like, one of the things that always comes up when I have conversations with people around the world about why we have special games is, well, we already do Special Olympics. Why are you just titling it as something else? And what's your good answer? Because there are moments when I'm looking at them going, really?
You want me to answer, Casey? Or
Yeah, you have a really good answer for this one.
Well, first of all, it is a completely different thing, and you have to have a certain level of athleticism to participate in Special Olympics. It's a wonderful thing, of course. We all love Special Olympics. Special Games is all inclusive. So that means every level, anything, no one is turned away. We have kids from a local children's hospital, acute, subacute care hospital here. They're going to be there. I mean, they're on, this is all inclusive, all levels. And I think it's a nice addition to something like Special Olympics, but it's completely different.
I think that's important to know the difference for sure, so people don't get it confused or think that there is a connection. However, as was just talked about a few minutes ago, the best idea would be for the Kiwanis Special Games to go international and other districts to follow suit, because then I got to imagine we might break records of participants even that Special Olympics can only dream about.
Probably.
That's what we need to do a commercial for.
Yeah. So you don't need to be an athlete.
So, right. So, John, you're perfect for it. You don't need to be an athlete to participate. Right. Come on now.
The other thing that I find interesting is every year, and I've only been in Kiwanis since 2018. So I've been to 2018, 2019. So what? Just a few. But there are always kids that show up from other places. Last year, I met a kid with his mom who came over from Santa Cruz. Even though it's really Santa Clara County and Silicon Valley, if someone shows up, they're in. We give them a T-shirt, we sign them up, make sure everything's. I mean, it's really phenomenal.
So I'm glad you asked that. And Val, I don't know if you're on the same train of thought, but I'll put it out there. Since our show literally is international, okay? Mm-hmm. If someone from New Jersey or our dear friend Grace out in South Africa, she's got if they wanted to sign up and come in to participate, is that possible for people to sign up and participate from anywhere in the world to come out to Cali to do this?
I think so. I mean, we wouldn't turn them away.
Yeah, exactly. They were there.
Okay.
Most of our signups come from local special education programs, adapted PE teachers. So that's how the word usually gets out.
Sure.
But certainly if, we have
not after this show, though.
I know, right? But we have students who maybe have family members elsewhere who will come in from other counties, other areas. So we would never turn someone away.
Right on.
I know some people have come up from Monterey on a regular basis. One of my Kiwanians in my Marina Club actually discovered that she's a special ed teacher in trying to think Independence. And so it was just like, wow, okay, this is absolutely fantastic. And, I think that people can do this really easily. I know on the website I saw that there are some ways that people can set up some of the individual games and things that are going on. So
it's kind of like starting an SLP. You have to have the people and the will and the desire to start it.
So that's a great point. Obviously, you two are Kiwanians. The title of the organization is Kiwanis Special Games, but do all the organizers to be involved to pull off the event annually, do they all have to be Kiwanians to be involved, or can someone from within your business community, let's say, who's maybe not a Kiwanian, though they should at least get an application? Haha, see what I did there? Could they help participate in organizing an event and be part of the planning committee?
They certainly are welcome to, but we would encourage them to at least join the Special Games Club, because it's a single focus club. And if they want to be involved, then that would be the way to do it. That would make more sense. Otherwise, they would be kind of a visitor, and they are certainly welcome, but it wouldn't be as, we would promote them to become a member.
Sure. Before we go to break, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to piggyback on that. We do have corporate companies that will let their employees come volunteer for a day. So I can't think of what company it was, but they had maybe like 5 or 6 people who came and volunteered on the day of. So that's certainly something that people can do if they want to get involved on just the day of the event.
So before, go ahead, Nancy. No, finish your thought. I'm sorry.
Cisco is sending over 40 of their employees here through Tino.
Wow. Nice. Cisco, the food company, right?
No, Cisco, the computer company.
Oh, the computer company. Well, there's 2, SYSCO and then SCI. Anyway, before we go to break, Herman Platsky here in the chat room says, excellent project. What are the costs involved? And do you get sponsors to help support the program, the events?
We do. For example, we had a sponsor that this year paid for the T-shirts, which is a huge expense, because each year we have new T-shirts for all of the student athletes. So, it's basically around $10,000. And that was a special needs children's foundation. In fact, they have their information is on our website. But we don't go overboard commercializing it. So we get, for example, sponsors for coffee for the volunteers and pizza for the key clubbers, but we don't want to commercialize it, so to speak.
So you kind of touched.
Sorry.
No, that's right. You touched on before that you guys have a foundation as well. So my presumption, and you'll address this on the other side of the break, Val, you probably already know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask because I don't know. Obviously, there's got to be some fundraising throughout the year if you're not commercializing it that goes into your foundation, and therefore I'm presuming your foundation is financially supporting the event. Don't answer that in reply. Hold the reply for the other side of the break. You're watching Kiwanis Connects, Kiwanis Special Games next weekend. We got the know people right here. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. The Kiwanis Club of Folsom Lake is a group of fun, passionate people from all different backgrounds and interests who are dedicated about making our community a better place for children. We have 3 fundraising events throughout the year which allow us to support an after-school program for disadvantaged kids, high school scholarships, sponsors Key Club in high schools, and supports the Kiwanis Family House, which builds a supportive, healing community around families who are impacted by medical emergencies. Come check us out by visiting our website, www.folsomlakekiwanis.org. Kiwanis International is a global community of clubs, members, and partners dedicated to improving the lives of children one community at a time. Today, we stand with more than 550,000 members, from K-Kids to Key Club to Kiwanis, for all ages in over 80 countries around the world. Each community has different needs, and Kiwanis empowers members to pursue creative ways to serve the needs of children, such as fighting hunger, improving literacy, and offering guidance. Kiwanis clubs host nearly 150,000 service projects each year.
For more information, contact Herman Platsky at KiwanisClub of 29Palms.com.
All right, welcome back. Man, that ended that commercial. Woo-hoo! Could order Domino's pizza and gotten it delivered before it ended. But anyway, welcome back.
To be able to read that.
Welcome back. All right, Val, take it away. So, ladies, if you want to address my question, and then Val, take it away. Ladies?
I forgot the question.
fundraising events throughout the
My
year.
wife on here is my hello wifey. Are you out there? She doesn't remember what I say either, so it's all good. Fundraising
Yeah,
for
like she
special
listens to
games
you,
through
yeah.
your foundation, the Special Games Foundation.
We do. Actually, we get quite a bit donated from each club. So remember that Special Games Club is made up of Division 12 and Division 34. And the long name is Division 1, 2, 3, 4 Kiwanis Special Games. It's like a really long name. We always just say Kiwanis Special Games, but it's made up of both divisions. So with approximately 12 to 13 clubs in each division, not only are they members of the club, but they also donate. So we run about probably minimum of, well, I don't want to say a number, but it depends on the year and how many things we need to purchase that year. You know, if we need to upgrade some of the games, or if we need to get new ribbons or new volunteer T-shirts. But the cost does vary, and we used to apparently get more donations. So we're looking into having our own little fundraisers also.
So you have a
The
plethora.
name is actually longer. The name is actually longer than that,
It
because
is.
when we were trying to get the club named in the very beginning, Kiwanis International said you also had to have a location, and Division 1, 2, 3, 4 was not a location. So it's Kiwanis Club of Division 1, 2, 3, 4 Special Games in Santa Clara.
Jeez.
That's a
Really
lot.
long name.
Pat, can I buy a vowel, please? Yeesh.
That doesn't even fit on a T-shirt.
I can imagine the size of the business card, though. It's big.
Absolutely. I was looking at you, Casey, and I realized that, I've been at several of the special games ever since 2 years before the actual club started. And I've seen you several times. And what keeps bringing you back? Because, there's a lot of energy. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of moving parts all at one time.
I love anything that's inclusive. I think that inclusive activities are critical to making us a more compassionate society. One of my favorite things is actually bringing neurotypical students to support the neurodiverse community that's participating. So I would say that's probably what brings me back. I love bringing the Key Club volunteers. I love, interacting and educating. One of my favorite things to do when we first get there is work with volunteers and kind of give them some training on what certain disabilities look like, how can they help. I think that there is a fear sometimes around students depending on what their needs are. So really helping our student volunteers know how to appropriately interact with others. I think that's my favorite part. And of course I love helping with the games, but I really like kind of interacting with the volunteer crowd.
Do you need an
I was going
event?
to say,
Oh, go ahead, Val.
no, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say if they needed an event host. I know somebody.
Come on down.
Might be a little late for next week, but for next year for sure.
I like that.
Love it. We would love it.
Wouldn't that be cool to have a voice of WWE, the World Fighting?
WWDB TV be the voice of Kiwanis Special Games.
I love it. Oh, that would be so cool. It was like you talked about neurodiverse kiddos, and I have to share with you, I took a number of courses in childhood development and adult development, and so I thought I fully understood what it was to volunteer and work with kids that are neurodiverse. And my very first special games, I had someone that he's living in a world that I had only read about, and that there was no affect, no interaction, and he was there. And I ended up being in full-on tears and couldn't run the game afterwards, because when he ruined it, and I said, oh my goodness, I think he's happy. And the person that was with him said, no, actually he's giggling right now, because he had a little bit of a shake. And he truly that was the first ribbon he had ever earned in his life.
And I
Wow.
love the fact everyone leaves the special games with ribbons and with some sort of honor. And I think for some of our kids who it is challenging to do, sort of even day-to-day activities, having that chance to shine in something is amazing.
It's their moment, right? I mean, it's their moment in a life where perhaps they're viewed differently than somebody else in the community, but this is their moment to shine. Not that they don't shine the other, 360 days of the year, but this is where they can test their ability and be somewhat self-sufficient in an arena with everybody around them, and be part of that excitement, and to have earned something that's got to just fuel them with so much joy.
The parade at the beginning is amazing. Every single athlete is announced, and I love that too. It takes a long time. I wish we could put like shade structures over them because it can be warm. But other than that, I love the fact that they get to walk the track and they get their name announced. I think that's really cool. And the other thing that always I love to see are the parents who are there volunteering with their kids, because they get to have a really special interaction with their student, with their child.
Sounds like you need a party tent rental company to donate some tents out there to create shade.
The schools will bring pop-ups for where they're sitting and resting and where they have their lunch and stuff like that. But yeah, the very first year it was really hot. Last year wasn't as bad, but the first year I was there, it was really hot. And I did feel bad for the kids kind of at the end of the parade because they were waiting a while.
Yeah.
It was
absolutely. Or a ton of golf style umbrellas so they can each carry something for shade while they're in the parade.
I will say some of the schools, some of the resource aides will bring umbrellas to kind of walk over. Yeah, it's a good idea.
You got to have a couple of golf courses out near you so that somebody can at least donate some golf umbrellas. I mean,
I like that idea, Nancy. Maybe we'll try that for next year.
I know, that's a great idea.
So Kathy Tran, I guess Kathy mentioned that you guys have the San Jose Sharks and the San Jose Barracuda coming out. And Maritza here, our lieutenant governor, was asking if Kathy's going to be there. Kathy said something about getting more responsibility at work or something with a promotion, so she doesn't seem like she'll be able to be there. So it's all right.
Well,
Kathy, you should have waited a week before accepting the promotion.
She's always there in spirit because of her connection with the mascots, for sure. They the kids go nuts when they see Sharky and all the different mascots. I mean, you'd think it was a rock star from my perspective. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder what they would feel if a Golden Knight mascot came out there, because the Knights in San Jose, they're like oil and water.
No way.
No way, Jose.
Challenge.
Challenge accepted. Good morning,
We're just
Pat.
going to have to do special games in Las Vegas.
No, not that I'm aware of. Yeah, so I know Maritza's in the chat room, so I'm guessing she's probably written down a note or something to discuss, because we certainly have the population here because of Opportunity Village is a mainstay here for the special need clientele. So that would be a source to tap into. So possibly, like I said, Maritza, jot that down for your successor for next year. There you go. All right. So Patrick Frazee, thank you for joining us. Patrick says, thank you all for your caring inspiration. There you go. Patrick is also Kiwanis here with us here in Vegas, a member of the Downtown Kiwanis Club. So thank you, Patrick, for chiming in. Go ahead, Val.
Well, Nancy, you and I have been a part of this club, and so do you think we could get a campaign going where we can have people joining from other states so that they can start their own satellite of special games?
Absolutely.
How do you think we can do that?
I think we have to do that. It feels like we kind of go a little forward and then go back because people, when time goes by after the event, people start muddling it together again with Special Olympics. And granted, there's nothing wrong with that, except that it's so different. So yeah, if we could have a campaign with these ads, that would be the great way to start. And to tell people how easy it is to start and the need that's out there. I mean, these kids are, all everybody talks about nowadays is inclusion. well, what about these kids? They are out there and, their friends are doing things, or their sister or brother are doing things, and they're not having the attention that they deserve. So I think it's really important.
I think that should be on our agenda when we're at International Convention in Denver.
Yeah.
I know that I did a presentation last year and people really got very interested, but then they were like, but isn't it a lot of work? And it's just like, almost everything that's worth it is a lot of work. So,
And I think what Nancy said is really critical. We have to keep in mind, we all have to keep in mind, we started with 12 kids.
Mhm.
And it doesn't start with 1,000. It starts with one school. It starts with one club and, a special ed teacher who has a connection to a school. So I think that if you think about it starting small, and it's okay, we have to, often I think as Kiwanians, and I think just as service people, we want to start things big, right? We want to help as many people as we can, but it can start small.
Yeah, absolutely. John Brummer puts in the chat room, is this for kids only? Are Action Club members allowed to participate?
I'm so sorry. I'm not familiar with Action Club.
Action Club is for adults with disabilities, and it's part of our whole family.
Got
Yeah.
it.
So it's interesting because we don't have as many action clubs here as we should. But we do have, for example, at the West Valley College campus, there's College of Adaptive Arts, which is it's its own separate entity, but it resides on the West Valley campus. And we have adults, for example, I love Mary. I won't say her last name for privacy reasons, but she comes every year and volunteers with us. So she doesn't need to participate in the game. She doesn't really want to, but she volunteers with us. And she always is part of the opening ceremony and does the athletes pledge. Everybody loves her. Yeah, it's great.
Let's give out the website to the games itself, if you would, please.
It's just KiwanisSpecialGames.org.
All right. Kiwanis Special Game, no spaces or anything. Just want to make sure. I'm actually stalling for John because he's typing that in, and we're going to see it on a crawl in a minute or two. Kiwanis, maybe in a couple of hours we might. KiwanisSpecialGames.org for all your information. I was surfing the site yesterday, the day before, to prep today. There's a lot of great information on that site, not just about the games, but there's a lot of great resources on there as well, right? Can you talk about some of the resources that are on there for folks that are not familiar with special games or the athletes involved? What's out there for people to see and learn?
There's a page within the website that says how to get started or how to start your own games. And it has some very simple steps. It's just like what Casey was saying. You have to have, a school with some connection to one of the teachers and a parent. I mean, that's really all you need to start. You can start with 4 kids, and the next thing you know, you'll have 30, and hopefully, at some point, not right away, but it'll go to 1,000. I mean, there are that many kids, and every year we get people from, like I said earlier, from all different places that want to know, can we start it in Alameda, or can we start it in other places? And it's critical. It's not just a fun thing. It's so much more than that.
I was just going to say, it's fun. It's more than that, but it is work. And anything worthwhile, like we mentioned and alluded to before, takes work, takes some blood, sweat, and tears for the end result to see the smiles on these athletes and the families, quite frankly, too, to see their athlete in the spotlight. So at the end of that event, everybody's like, oh, I'm tired. Let's go get a drink. We're sweating, right? Then when that all wears off, I think everybody can look back and say, you know what? That was great. I feel great helping these athletes achieve their individual success or in a team event. And the parents are happy, relatives, spouses, friends. Yeah, what's wrong with that? In this day and age, we need more of that.
You leave there saying, that's the best thing I've ever done. You don't leave there saying, I'm exhausted. I don't know if I could do it again. It just doesn't happen.
No,
I don't know anybody who hasn't participated another year because they didn't like it. Students obviously go away to college or, work interferes. But I don't know of anybody who said, oh, I wouldn't do that again. It was too much work, or I wouldn't do that again. It wasn't enjoyable.
Right. Kathy Tran apparently heard from, I'm sorry, Casey, say that again.
Oh, I said both participants and volunteers. Like everyone leaves there wanting to do it again.
Sure, absolutely. Kathy put a message in there. I heard there's a resource in Arizona that can come help Vegas. I wonder who that could be.
Maybe initial KT.
You know what's really amazing about how you feel, it's I travel. It's almost 3 hours for me to get to you guys, and when it's all the traffic and everything. And so when I leave, I'm more energized than when I get there. And part of it is the camaraderie that happens with all of the volunteers that are there. It's one of the few events that I've seen that's so large scale where everybody stays to help clean up. Most of the time when people are done with an event, they just go, right? And they're gone. But here, people are so committed to making sure that the experience for the volunteers and the participants is exceptional. And I think it's because of people like both of you that make that possible.
It's all Nancy.
It's all Nancy.
No, it is not. No,
I'm just along for the ride. I just do what Nancy tells me to do.
No, that's not true.
Don't most presidents do it that way? I don't know. I just thought, it's one of do it. Okay.
But I want to give a shout out to Rex Up, because the Special Games Club, I think was Rex's dream, wasn't it, Nancy?
Absolutely. Yeah. In fact, just yesterday at our Los Gatos meeting, we showed the video from 2018 when he accepted the award at International for signature project. And it was
I think you just answered a question that I think Herman Platsky put in earlier. I'm trying to find it. Has this project been entered in the signature service project competition? And you just answered it for him. Very good. There you go.
Second.
Okay, that's it. But it was
came in second in the world, so it was fabulous.
Exactly.
And who came in first? A club in Malaysia who is built 6 centers for Down syndrome children. Wow. I mean, if you're going to come in second, that's a good thing to come in second.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad. That's a pretty good. But even though it was second, it's still recognized by
in the world.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's still recognized by KI around the world with all of our members. Obviously, the 2022 clip we played earlier was done by your local TV network, but it should be something that more people should be seeing about all over the world because of its success and being recognized as the #2 project around the world.
Right. And #1 in the United States.
There you go. Even better.
As Rex pointed out yesterday.
I like that. Yeah, we forget about that one, right?
#1 in North America. It doesn't get any better than that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So if you had tips for an organization to get started, a Kiwanis club to get started in, say, Virginia, what would they do? What would be the steps that you think that they should take?
To start their own special games?
Absolutely.
I would say get a parent to connect with someone at the school and just go for it. Right, Casey? Is it that simple? Or
I mean, what I would envision is there's a school attached to it. So somebody who is in another state who knows of a school, and contacting the school, contacting the APE teacher, contacting a special education teacher, getting a parent volunteer. You could start it really with 12 kids and 2 volunteers on a school campus. We're very fortunate that we have West Valley College who lets us use their campus. It's one of our local community colleges. And I personally, as a teacher, I'm a huge fan of community colleges. So I love partnering with them for this. But it could be on a school campus. It could be at a park. It could be anywhere. We run it usually on a Friday. So it's a school day for the kids. So they're not coming on a Saturday, but you could certainly run it on a weekend if that's better. But I think just jumping both feet in. One of the great resources, we have so many resources online now, but looking up games, because I think that's probably one of the trickiest pieces. How do you find appropriate games? Certainly on our special games, KiwanisSpecialGames.org site, but looking up what kind of games can the kids play, because you want to make sure that they can fully participate in all the activities. So that might be, I think that'd probably be one of the harder things to come up with, but just partnering with the school.
I wonder, since Kathy is still watching, I'm wondering if that suspected individual in Arizona would travel to Virginia. Anyway,
I'll travel to Virginia to help out. That sounds like a fun trip.
All right.
I've got three volunteers, my children. I can bring three student volunteers with me.
Excellent. All right. See, there we go. We have a foundation ready and haven't even gotten there. Gary Graham, if you're watching, I'm still waiting for that information from you about Kiwanis in Virginia, by the way. Yeah. So that's great. I got Kathy, I got Casey, and I got two. Excellent. See, Val.
You got Val, because Val, it was definitely. Oh, absolutely. I've got my shirt. I'm ready. Absolutely.
Would Andy come out for a live version of Bad Dad Jokes to help?
I think he could be talked into it.
Okay. Gotcha.
Absolutely. But, most people, when they're watching this, they're going, okay, so you're talking about these games. And so what do the games actually look like? Because it's not complicated.
No. So Nancy, do you want to talk about what Los Gatos Club does, and then?
Well, we have two games that we kind of take control of. One is a frisbee throw, so it could be someone that is having someone help them throw it, or it could be someone a little older, a 12-year-old who throws it to smithereens, and that's one thing. And then we have a beanbag drop. And then there's like an obstacle course, and then there's an obstacle course for those in wheelchairs. So there's everything has a balance, so that depending on the level, that's what they choose to do. But they could play the same game 5 times in a row if they want to. We don't make them move on to the next game. So.
And I think that's an important piece. Everybody has a little bit of freedom to choose what they want to do. There is kind of a rotation, and we have student volunteers who help them. But if they get to one that they don't want to do for whatever reason, they can choose to participate in another one. I love the obstacle courses. I think those are probably my favorite to watch, Val. And it's really cool because you see the kids in wheelchairs who their para educators who are supporting them are sort of pushing them through it, and they're getting their exercise for the day. And then of course the kids who maybe walking is a challenge, but they're still able to get through that obstacle course, still able to get through that race. We have the 25-yard dash, I think. So some of the running traditional races, they've got games where we have the beanbag drop, but there's also some games where you're throwing and you're trying to make it into a circle. And the games are always adjusted for the student needs. So maybe somebody has to be a little closer, a little further away. Nancy isn't kidding. We've had to chase down Frisbees from some of our teen students who can just throw it across the entire field. So there's a lot of different games. It could be as simple as knocking down, any of the games that you see at a local boardwalk, knocking down bottles or throwing something into a basket. I could envision going to the Dollar Tree and getting buckets and balls or bean bags and throwing stuff. Sometimes one of my favorite games when I taught preschool was actually just putting a beanbag on your head and then, walking through cones or something like that. So you can do a lot of really simple games. It doesn't have to be complicated. Some of our games do have some complicated pieces because they've been built by clubs over the years. And that's the other really cool thing is every club kind of starts to own an activity. So while the special games houses all the materials, another club might say, oh, I'm going to change what we're doing here and build pieces to make a game work differently.
Right on. Val, we're going to get ready to go to our final break. Any last questions before we go into our break?
Well, no, I was just thinking about your 25-yard dash, and you're talking about having to chase down people. The last games I went to, they actually had to get the kids to stop running because they kept wanting to go. And I thought, now that's the fun part.
For me, I would need a 25-yard walk. I'd be fine for that myself. But anyway,
25-yard
DoorDash. Yeah, really get some driver. Anyway, that's a whole nother game. Anyway, hey, Kiwanis Connects, coming around the clubhouse turn. More to finish up with the ladies, Kiwanis special games, and of course, coming up, John's favorite segment of the show, Bad Dad Jokes coming along. We'll be right back. Thanks to the efforts of the Cal Neva District of Kiwanis, there's been a Kiwanis presence in the Rose Bowl Parade for more than half of the New Year's Day Parade since 1921. In the past, our efforts were funded through club sponsorships, outside sponsorships by the generous donations from Kiwanis members or club foundations sponsoring riders on the Kiwanis float itself. The District Rose Float Committee handles fundraising, and the Kiwanis Rose Float Club secures and organizes the volunteers. When Kiwanis International wanted to sponsor a large portion of our float, momentum from our clubs was lost due to any fundraising. The time has come to have our clubs increase their involvement in the fundraising efforts. But the Rose Float Kiwanis Club needs the help from all Kiwanis clubs, its members, and businesses to answer the call for support. Visit our Kiwanis Rose Float page on Facebook. Help make sure that Kiwanis International will let the world continue to smell the roses for a long time. All right, welcome back. There you have it, the Kiwanis Rose Float, Kiwanis Special Games. Listen, we got so much stuff going on to support our community. I don't know why everybody in the world is not a Kiwanian. That's all I got to say for that, right? Because we have something for everyone. We don't have everything for something, but one person will find something within everything, and then there we are. All right, Val,
it's across the spectrum, and that's the part that amazes me. I was just talking to a group of K kids, and we're talking to 5 and 6 year olds, and I keep thinking, wow, if we could have a K Kids Club, a Builders Club, a Key Club, a Circle K, and an Action Club, all helping at special games, think of what that would look like as far as a commercial goes about what we do and the partnership across the Kiwanis world. It's one of the few activities that we can all participate in, and be a part of. So, are there any hurdles that you guys think? Yeah, I kept thinking during the commercial break. Are there any hurdles or red flags that you want to make sure people avoid because you guys have already hit them in your special games? So I was like asking Nancy, you already got that look. You're like, yeah.
Well, some things that are kind of basic, like you want to make sure you have it at the right time of year where the weather isn't a concern one way or the other. You also have to make sure once Key Club and the kids start getting involved as volunteers, you want to make sure that it's not conflicting with their end of the year exams and all the other stuff that they have going on. So it's a fine balance from a timing perspective. That's why we do it. We usually do it in May. But West Valley College, who is our partner in this, they have a lot going on, so they had to move it up into April. But I think that'll be good. It'll be a little cooler. So that's, to me, the kind of one of the biggest things.
And I think along with that is a lot of pre-planning. The special games planning starts like 2 weeks after the special games event. And it really does take that long. Even something as simple as getting field trip forms filled out so that student volunteers can come from schools. That's one thing, everything has to go through board approval or school approval somehow, depending on the event. So that can always be a little bit tricky. So definitely giving yourself enough lead time to plan it. It would be better to have it done a month early or 2 months early than waiting till the last minute to plan events.
And do you guys use any software at this point to do any tracking? Have you built a database to be able to track all of the paperwork and all the people involved? Are you still on Excel? What you doing?
You're speaking my language, Val. That's what I want to build. I don't know the technology. I think we need one.
So what are you using now to track it? Just like an Excel spreadsheet kind of thing?
I don't know if Nancy's hearing us, but so I have not been involved in the tracking piece, so I can't answer exactly, but I will say the day of the event, there are a lot of binders, there's a lot of paper, so we have a lot of paper applications and paper in there that we're going through. So I don't know who tracks it on that end. I would have to talk to Nancy, but the day of, it's definitely an Excel spreadsheet that's printed out with every school and all the volunteers.
So Kathy puts in there that her little sister starts planning for on the first day of school for the April and May event. So, and I get, such a big event, as soon as it's over, you're already thinking next year. And people think it's crazy, but that happens with any big event, any type of event, excuse me, that is put together. You're really not wasting any time to start thinking about the next one, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're exactly right. And, from a participant's end, you have to make sure you have the appropriate transportation. Do you need wheelchair lifts on your bus? How many volunteers do you need? Paraeducators usually attend, but if paraeducators are in multiple classrooms during the day, who's going to have sub coverage? So there's a lot that goes into the planning that you do start as an educator. You're starting at the very beginning of the year to make sure you're ready to go in April or May.
Any special insurance needs for an event like this in case of injury or something?
Question. Nancy?
That's my one good one for the month.
That's a really good question. I would guess that it's all under Kiwanis Special Games, but I don't know.
Nancy, are you with us? Nancy, are you there?
I think she's frozen.
All right. No, she's moving.
There
Nancy,
she
you
is.
there? Nancy?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear you at all, so that's why I'm just sitting here with a dumb smile on my face.
You look beautiful. So
I don't know what happened.
So the Kiwanis insurance does cover the games. So as Nancy's looking there, absolutely beautiful. That's one of the parts about all of the waivers and the forms that are being filled out. It shows that each athlete does have some level of insurance responsibility.
We definitely have special insurance, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Are you now able to hear us?
No, I'm texting her.
Oh, okay. John, can you put a message in the private chat to her? Maybe we just quickly sign in or sign off and sign back in. Because God forbid I'd want her to not miss bad dad jokes. So anyways, so if it's under KI, does that also absolve the school or the location where the event is? Do they have to have anything in preparation for the event?
I'm looking at Val.
I believe so. I think that's why West Valley is a partner in this process, so that they can actually have also known as writers, special writers, and so there are so many rules and everything that we go through, and it's really interesting that we've gotten to a point now, I think, where we actually also need to have traffic control, which is something that I don't think anybody ever thought about 20 years ago, that we'd have to have traffic control to get everybody and all the buses in on the campus in the right way, and people not running over anybody special in the parking lot, and getting all the equipment there and all the kind of tents and things like that. So,
all right. So hopefully we just asked Nancy, excuse me, to bounce off and log back in. Hopefully that'll fix the audio issue. All right, before we get to good morning, Andy. Glad you're there. See, I can't start unless Andy, I know, is ready for him. KiwanisSpecialGames.org is the website, and get all your information there. We have Casey with us. Nancy will hopefully be back with us in a couple of moments. But before we do all of that, you know what time it is? It's time for Val on the road.
I absolutely love that every single time. It doesn't get old. And so I have a very simple week coming up next week. And so my whole goal is to be in Los Gatos on Thursday night, because I think we have some special celebrations going on Thursday. And Andy and I are going to be at Special Games bright and early on Friday. We're very excited. This will be Andy's first time. I think I've been talking about this for almost 10 years, and it'll be his first time being there. So it's a very simple Val on the road for today. Thanks, Aaron.
No worries. Hey, by the way, here's a great update about Roku. If you want to catch all of Kiwanis Connect shows for 2024, they're now available on the Roku channel or WWDB TV's channel on Roku. Nancy, can you hear us?
Yes.
Yay!
Now that it's all done.
Thanks for joining us. See you next week. That's what we call vamping and stalling, folks, until we get everything back together. That's what that's called. It's KiwanisSpecialGames.org. Check it out. All the information you want. And somebody I know in Virginia is probably going to be hot under the spotlight to get one of these going back east. So I'll just leave it at that for now.
That's great.
All right.
That's great.
All right, since Andy's buckled in and ready to go, it is time for the favorite segment of the show, at least according to John,
God.
Dad jokes. All right, here we go.
Oh, your mic's off.
Mic's off. Is this thing working? Do I need to log back in and out again? I don't know. All right, so I had this thought the other day.
Uh-oh.
I thought the dryer was shrinking my clothes. Turns out it was the refrigerator after all. Think about that one. See, I got Val right out of the gate. Got it. All right. So anything from here, I don't care. I got Val. That's
Haven't heard from Andy yet.
no, I know. Well, so, he's waiting to the end.
Yeah,
He grades them all.
All right.
What did one wall say to the other? John?
I'll meet you on the corner.
I'll meet you at the corner. Thank you very much, John. I appreciate that. There we go. Did that one. I have these highlights. What kind of shoes do ninjas wear? Sneakers. Yes.
Very good.
I once had a dream I was floating in an ocean of orange soda. It was a fantasy. Yes. All right. See, the good news is that these sheets I've been using, I'm just about done. But fear not, I purchased 3 books on Amazon, A Bad Dad Joke. So I'm ready to go. Hey, what is a funny mountain called? Hilarious. Hilarious. Funny mountain. All right, never mind. And last but not least, next. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting the lips from Val.
Oh,
I got. That's right.
I like Kathy's response.
What did Kathy send me? Oh, tomatoes. Kathy, come on now. What is that? What did they? All good so far. Could be best ever. All right. Well, I got one more.
Boy, he's easy to please.
It's been that kind of week.
Oh, there you go. All right. So Andy better check out that TikTok I put up on the Kiwanis Connects page. You'll enjoy that. Here you go. Last one, thankfully. What is a fancy fish called? Sophisticated.
That's pretty good.
Thank you all for coming.
Sure to tip your waiters and waitresses on your way out, ladies and gentlemen. Good. See, that's what we call the Oreo cookie bad dad jokes. That the first one went off, and now the last one, she's going. The ones in between, she wasn't sure. So I got the Oreo cookie joke going. The last one. See, Nancy and Casey. Well, Nancy, you were sort of prepared for these.
Yeah, they're never coming back.
They're never coming back.
Anytime.
Just imagine me hosting
No,
your.
thanks. I'm busy.
Yes. Just imagine me hosting your event after these bad dad jokes. Anyway, listen, specialkiwanisgames.org. Check it out. A lot of great stuff for 45 years. This has been going on to support the clientele, the community. And as a Kiwanian, it's terrific. Special Olympics back in the day for me. We're talking, I joined Key Club in 82. 82. I was a founding member. That was my very first service project was we were supporting the local Special Olympics. So the Special Games, again, I know they're not the same, but was my very first service project. So ladies, thank you for coming on. Casey, thank you so much.
It sounds like you need to start Special Games for your club. If your first service project is Special Olympics, it comes all around. Full circle?
Well, that's very true. And that's if all right. So, all right, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag officially. Well, I mean, I kind of have. Val mentioned Virginia for a reason. Okay. Some of the folks in the Kiwanis world know my wife is retiring from education in June. We are moving back east to Virginia Beach to be closer to family out there.
And the witness protection
program.
program.
The witness protection program has worn out for me here at Vegas, so I got to go to another place. Gary Graham, our international trustee, is from that area, Virginia Beach. He's going to find out some of the clubs out there, and so that's why Val was mentioning Virginia. So when the time comes, no pressure from Val, of course, then I expect all of you to pack your bags. I got plenty of space, you know. So with that, I will say this. My last show as of right now will be the last Friday in May before I just take a hiatus for at least a month because I got to move. I got to get my stuff to Virginia. Although
I can't wait.
John is holding the door open for me. Although I can join on my phone at any time, which I will try to do. No promises during that time, but I am hoping by the middle to the end, by the end of June, maybe right after July 4th, I will be back on regular time with Val. So that's why the Virginia notification was there, and so we may have an East Coast Kiwanis Special Games, and we'll get things cranking. So anyway,
we're going to take the month of June off, and
what's that?
We will take the month of June off.
Okay.
And because it's just not the same. Most people do not dial in to see me. They dial in for Aaron and the bad dad jokes, and I'm just a
Yeah,
conduit.
there are no bad mom jokes.
No, and there shouldn't be.
No.
I'm just saying.
Kathy's sharing with me that just so I know, she was born in '85, letting me know that my Kiwanis tenure is longer than her being on this earth. Thank you, Kathy. And so she's also offering to be a substitute host for me, Val. She put that there in the chat room. So
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
and
listen.
I'm gonna throw another cat out of the bag.
Go.
And talking with Kiwanis International, they may adopt our show, and because I have aspirations about doing other things within the organization, we may have to find you another host anyway. So,
well, listen.
To come.
This show, though, was based on the principle around you last year during your tenure. So I don't care what kind of large muckety muck you become down the line. You better carve out 1 hour every week to stay here. You know what I'm saying? So we'll figure that out when we get to that. So along that line, I know you saw the emails with Ben, and he's asked for some information. Last week's show, by the time I got around to promoting it after we did it, which was a Friday, this I think on Monday, Tuesday, I got that out there. So far, in only a couple of days, we have about 24,000 views so far just of that show last week, where we were talking about Denver and, of course, the wonderful conversation of dues, which I believe, Val, next week we will continue that conversation, part 2. Anything you want to let the cat out of the bag as to who our guests are?
Is that going to be dues?
Part 2s. Oh, John.
Part 2. Dues part 2. And so we will actually have one of our favorite friends, Gary Graham, one of the international trustees, and Ben Hendricks being our special guest to talk more about dues and some of the other items that are on the list at Kiwanis International, because I know although it's over the 4th of July weekend, it's really important that we show up because at this point in time, we are doing so many different things across our district and at Kiwanis International to reduce our financial footprint. But if we don't increase our dues, the pie is not going to get larger. And that means that we won't get the support for special games. We won't get the support for the Kiwanis International Children's Fund and all those different things that are out there, which are so important to all of us. I get almost teary-eyed to think about what the world would look like if there wasn't any Kiwanis.
Well, that would be a very bleak look, and I seriously doubt that that will ever happen. We'll figure something out as we always do. All right, we're running overtime. John has given me the wrap-up sign for like the last 15. He was giving me the wrap-up sign before I started doing bad dad jokes, so I don't know what that means.
Can you blame me?
No, not after. But I made Val laugh. You know, I got the cookie effect, and Andy was very happy. So that makes my day. And I even got Nancy and Casey to smile. And feel free to use those jokes, by the way, throughout your day, ladies.
Don't.
Anyway, once again, ladies, thank you for joining us. Don't disconnect once we are off the show. I want you to hang around. Val, final thoughts.
You know, it's programs like this that remind me about why it's so important for there to be Kiwanis in the world. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Casey. You are my sheroes. I really appreciate you so much.
Right on. Well said. Well said. Well said. KiwanisSpecialGames.org. I'm Aaron Phillips. Tomorrow, Thoughts Count Anywhere, 9 to 10. Aaron's Hour will be a rerun of last week's show with Alicia Meek. Meek It Sweet, not your grandmother's Rice Krispie treats. These are so much better. Thank you for watching. Be kind to everybody. Why? What, Val? You like Rice Krispie? You got to check it out. Anyway, be kind to everybody. Why? We are all we have. We'll see you next time right here on Kiwanis Connects.